This is day 45, episode 21 of my modular journey. And today we're going to take a look at the Instruo Looper. The looper is similar to how old tape delays worked, where they had two recording heads and one would play and one would record, and then you could loop back and simulate tape delays that way. You could put in up to 9 minutes of audio on each reel. And then using CV, you could tell it where to start, what the length of the playback is. So let's say you had 9 minutes of audio clips and you wanted to play just a 30-second clip and just a 10-second clip. You can actually send voltages in to tell it to jump to those segments and play just those parts. So it has 3 different modes. It has a clock division mode, which is just, I think, the normal mode where it's just running tape. It also has a tape decay mode, which does a constant internal looping through back and forth and decays the quality of the tape. And then, of course, it has a delay mode. I believe what's going on is it's recording to one of the heads and then running through the auxiliary channels and kind of playing back and then recording over and over again to give you a kind of a nice little delay effect. What I will use it for is dumping audio clips into here and then using CV to play back, or actually playing, like hooking up some audio through like one of the oscillators or some kind of a noisemaker into it, and then randomly triggering an erase and then a record. Like you can CV the record here and then record a piece of the music and then turn it off and then it'll start looping. And then, of course, you can set the time that it loops and the length and the start. It's got a lot of really great potentials for live looping. That is probably going to take me a lot of practice. But that is basically the reason why I picked this module and why and how I plan to use it. So for the first part of how I plan to use it, I'm actually going to load up some audio in here. I already have the left and right coming out of my mixer, and I have a clip staged that I'm going to play back. I'm going to play the whole 5 minutes in here, but I'm going to cut this video up so you don't have to sit through it all. But then we're going to play with that recorded audio after it's done. Coming up right now is the audio clip. I'm going to hit record. As soon as I hear crickets, I'm going to hit record. So close-up cam is kind of showing what it looks like when it's in record mode. You got the amber lights down here, the reels are spinning. Inputs here, output monitors are down here. And then we end on crickets again. Because what I wanted to do with the crickets, beginning and the ending, is that way I can have a nice closed loop. And that's it. So the audio is recorded now. So let me pull out my inputs. So now if I turn up I have the decks linked here through the link switch. So that means whatever I change on the left side will happen on the right side. I'm going to turn the thing on to normal speed. So now you can hear, this is the recording that came from Pro Tools just now. So I can do things like shorten the length of the loop. So it'll only play back a short piece of the tape. I can then use this length knob to move me around the dial. Like. And now I have an end of loop here, so it'll go back to the beginning and play that thunder again. So see, that's how I can, with voltage, I can set the starting point and then the length of loop back, and then it'll just keep playing that. So this is exactly how I plan to use this particular module. It's other things you can do with it, of course, is there's half time, half speed by lowering it down 4 times speed. You can then hear what thunder sounds like at 4 times its speed. You can also hear what thunder sounds like going backwards. So I guess the other thing you can do is you can get it, if you make the length really short, like really short, it sounds like your computer's blowing up. You know that sound when your computer freezes? It's pretty scary, huh? So anyway, enough of that. Alright, so what you're looking at here is Pamela's new workout. I have 4 channels being used for this next piece of my little how I'm going to use it. First thing I want to show is the 4 channels are all set to divided by 16, only because I wanted it to go a little bit slower, but not too slow. So I'm going to take the channel 1 from Pamela's over there, I'm going to put it into length. Channel 2 goes into start. Channel 3 will go into speed. And then channel 4, I'm going to put into this mult down here, because then I'm going to take the mult and I'm going to make this retrigger both sides. So what Pamela's is going to do is it's going to basically set the length to a gate at a level of 50, but an offset of 25. So that means not quite full voltage, and then offset a little bit. I can actually bring that down a little bit further if I wanted to. So it's channel 1, that is length. So now for start, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say this one's going to be a triangle wave. So it's basically going to be voltage rising and falling, but it's going to be doing it at a maximum of 40%, and it's going to be offset by 40%. So that means it's not going to be bottom voltage, it'll be up here in the middle somewhere. So it's going to be rising and falling still by 40%, starting at 40%. All right, going to number 3. So number 3 is the speed, and that is how fast the playback is. So this one I definitely wanted to slow down a bit. I'm making it a wave of random, so the voltage that gets generated is a random voltage. And I can't remember what the ranges are, -10, +10. I don't think it's that dramatic, but maybe it is. But I have it scoped down to 20%. So again, the voltage that's going to get generated is just a 20% of the full range. No offset, because I want it to be as far down as I can get it. And number 4 is the retrigger. So the retrigger, the reason we want to retrigger is because as soon as you change these parameters, something has to tell them to engage those changes. So this is, again, just a gate, because I just need it to be on and off real quick. Now I want to start the playback. So now you hear it's just playing, crickets chirping, everyone's happy. But now I'm gonna kick in this clock here, and it's going to send voltages to all of these settings here, and then it'll start behaving differently. Let's see what that does. So what you see happening right now is the voltage that it received set to play this little segment, starting here, ending there, at this speed, and then re-trigger. I mean, Let me bump up that re-trigger a little bit. Make it a little faster. So the re-trigger was previously set to 1/16. So it was a little slow and it wound up stuck in that loop. But now we're re-triggering more often. So if you notice, the playhead is moving around, and this is basically the controlled voltage telling it to play at different positions at different speeds for different lengths. So I've just taken plates that's hooked to the keyboard right now, so I'm going to play a couple of notes. It's going to come through this CV because I wanted to control the volume. And then it's going to put into here. Once I hit the record button, it'll then overdub on top of this storm whatever notes I'm playing. Alright, so let's try it. Here goes record. And now I'm going to play some notes. Now I'll turn off record. Let's let it loop one more time. Yep, so both left and right are now synced. So another interesting thing you can do is this thing called Capacitive Reels, where you can touch the metal, and the longer you touch the metal, it's slower that one reel goes. So now if we let it loop back again, so that kind of shows, let's see, first it shows the recording from an external audio source dumped into the looper for use in playback. I showed how you could use CV and this voltage to randomly jump around the playback reel at different lengths and different start points, and at different speeds you can re-trigger. And now I just showed overdubbing of something I played on the keyboard down here over the top of my rainstorm. And then I showed capacitive touch on the reels, where you can actually offset them or get them back in sync by holding the reel, and it slows it down, it drags it down all to a complete stop. Just like putting your finger on the reel of a cassette tape or reel-to-reel tape deck. You touch it and you could slow it down. So that probably sums up what it is, what it does, why I chose it, and how I plan to use it. So that's it for episode 21 with the Instruo Looper. Coming up next, the WMD SSF mod box. Stay tuned for that.